Now, for some sad news in the NBA, and this ain't going to be a quick take. I know this is quick news, but I got to touch on this because it just happened yesterday. The Denver Nuggets fired Mike Malone and the GM Calvin Booth yesterday. Okay. The firing is not the surprise. Okay. Because for those who don't follow the NBA, Mike Malone was on the hot seat the year they won the championship. Okay. He's always had disagreements with the ownership, right? He was the Denver Nuggets coach for 10 years. He's an all-time winningest coach in Nuggets history, brought them their one and only NBA championship. So he deserved the right to continue this season out. On the strength of that alone, he should have finished the season out. But to fire him 5 games before the playoffs, when they're fighting for home court, they were in the 4th seed when he got fired yesterday, right? So for them to fire him now tells me one thing and one thing only. I'm not going to nitpick and give you all these different takes. This is exactly why I believe he got fired. The players wanted him out. Okay? You don't make a radical decision like that for a 10-year coach who is the all-time winningest coach in your franchise and brought you a title in the middle of Jokic's prime, and you fire him right before the playoffs. The players wanted him out. It's simple as that. Think about it. He goes in these press conferences and is open and brutally honest about coaching. Says, my team is not playing defense. Y'all can go back and look and watch these Nuggets games since the All-Star break. They're one of the worst defensive teams. And he's yelling at them on the sideline. He's actually coaching these kids. I'll call them kids because I'm older. He's actually coaching these men. And they can't take it. I don't know what it is about this generation. They don't want to be coached. And when you find a coach that actually gives a damn about winning games, these players can't respond to it, right? He openly talks about how they don't watch film, they don't pay attention to detail, and they don't win championships. On top of the ownership group mad at him, and they struggled with this his whole time. He's trying to win now. He has arguably the greatest player in the league over the last 5 years in Nikola Jokic. And he is trying to win championships in his prime window with veteran players. And management wants younger players to play. You can look at their draft picks over the last few years. They ain't been great. Christian Brahm's okay. The rest of these dudes, they ain't been that good. And they get rid of Contavious Caldwell-Pope. They get rid of Bruce Brown, the core bench of their championship run, to play these young guys, and they ain't been back to the final since. Says something. Coaches know their teams. I think he's had enough equity in the franchise to make these decisions, and him and ownership and the GM Calvin Booth have bumped heads. And instead of picking one or the other, ownership just said, both of y'all are out. But the timing of this firing tells me it was the players, right? They got tired of hearing him, and he probably lost the locker room. But to make this decision at this point in the season, I don't think it's happened in like 40-some years that a coach has coached this deep in the season and got fired. That only tells me it's the players. And Nikola Jokic was okay with it. Let me say, that may be too strong. Nikola Jokic knew about it, right? You don't make a decision like this. This is the only coach Nikola Jokic has ever played for. You don't make a decision like this and not go to Nikola Jokic and say, hey, we're about to make a big change right now. And I wanted to let you know. He had to know. If he signed off on it or not, that's up for y'all interpretation, but he definitely knew. This did not blindside him. This is the players complaining about being coached hard, and it's happening everywhere. Now, the silver lining. He's going to find another coaching job. He won't be unemployed for long. If Pop doesn't come back to the Spurs because he's under the Greg Popovich coaching tree, Mike Malone is, he can get that coaching job if he wants it. He can get that Memphis Grizzlies job that Taylor Jenkins got fired from a few weeks ago. He can get that job if he wants that job. He will be highly sought out to coach. He probably don't want the Sacramento job. He's had a taste of winning. If he gets to coach Wemby, and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, I think he would go there, right? If I'm going to coach young guys, I want the best young guys. Or he can go to Memphis with a veteran team and win there. Stay in the Western Conference. So he will have options, right? I'm pretty sure they bought him out. So don't shed tears for Mike Malone. Just sucks that he got fired at this juncture. And I believe it's the player's fault. I think that's the reason he got let go. They justified it by the losing streak that they're on, but management didn't like him anyway. They were always nip and tuck. But I think the losing streak and the players complaining about his voice in the locker room was justification for this firing to happen right now. And I think it's BS. Because look at this, my last point, then we'll move on. Out of the last 6 NBA champions, 4 of those head coaches have been fired. That's crazy, right? Nick Nurse got fired from Toronto. Frank Vogel got fired from the Lakers. Mike Budenholzer gets fired from the Bucks, and now Mike Malone from the Nuggets. And you know the crazy thing about all these teams? None of them have been back to the final since. So whatever this ownership sees, I don't know if they're looking at analytics or if they pacifying these players, but great coaches that lead teams to championships and y'all let them go, and these teams ain't been back to the final since. Hell, Toronto ain't even finna make the play-in, right? The Bucks look like they're in the tailspin. I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis leaves next year, right? The Lakers went to a conference final. They got the closest with Darvin Ham, but then they let him go. So we'll see what the Lakers do. And now I'm interested to see what Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets do in this playoff and moving forward now that Nikola will be playing for a brand new coach for the first time in his career. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, this is fresh news. It just happened yesterday. Mike Malone getting fired. I think it's the player's fault. That's the reason he got fired. And ownership was looking for justification to let him go anyway, and the players just kind of pushed it over the edge. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the X Factor Sports Podcast on YouTube and Rumble. And you can always catch these clips on any social media platform. All right.